Hey guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in right here on Wonder Dads Gaming. We're getting things started, kicked off tonight. We're at Michigan International Speedway. It's going to be a fun race. I want to appreciate you all for watching our broadcast. And tonight's going to be a fun one. Really excited for Michigan. Also because I'll be there this weekend at the track. So hopefully tonight is going to be a good race for you guys to watch. And hopefully on Sunday they put on a good race. And hopefully we get the race in because it doesn't rain. It seems like every single year I go to Michigan, it always rains. So hopefully we dodge rain on Sunday, and hopefully tonight is going to be a good race. Right now, cars are on track for qualifying. We'll go ahead and show you guys a little bit of qualifying, and then we'll get through the previous race announcements from last week. Or actually, we'll go ahead and do the previous race announcements real quick. So I didn't update that graphic. Zachary Ward, you're slacking. You didn't get it to me in time. But we'll go ahead and congratulate Brandon Fiedler for winning last week at Richmond. Put on a heck of a show. Was in the front most of the race, and when it mattered most, he was out there in front in the closing laps. So congratulations to Brandon for winning last week at Richmond. Congrats on that win, Brandon. P2 was Stephen Gibson. Stephen Gibson ran a heck of a show. He had a little bit of mishap, I believe, on lap 2. I think he spun it from the lead and got sent back to the back because he hit the wall or spun out, and then came back up through the field. Had a really fast car last week and finished P2 behind Brandon. So congrats, Stephen Gibson, on your podium runner-up finish. And then running up in P3 was Zachary Ward. Zachary Ward also had a fast car all race long. I thought Zachary was in contention to win it, but first, second, and third kind of got strung out all race long. So there's your first, second, and third podium finishers from last week at Richmond. Hope you guys enjoyed that race. But there's your finishing positions. Real quick, here's the Cup points. This is after last week at Richmond. So Brandon Fiedler currently has the Cup Series standings lead after 5 races in the Cup Series. John Ledger is currently P2. He moves up 4 spots after a successful race last week at Richmond. Cody Goodall is P3, David Galloway is P4, and Luke Mahone rounds out your top 5. Luke and Joe Tardif are actually tied for the top 5 position. And then Wes Gallo back there in the 7th, tied with Steve for 7th. So there's your point standings heading into Michigan. Guys, let's go ahead and get on track because qualifying is underway. Zachary Ward has qualified on the pole, so let's go ahead and get on track. So thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll go ahead and get started here. This is the iRacing Fun League. Zachary Ward on the pole. We'll go ahead and pull him up in just a moment here. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are at Michigan for 200 miles, and we're doing 100 laps here. It's a 2-mile track in Brooklyn, Michigan. So excited for this race this weekend. But let's go ahead and take a look at the starting grid. So right now, Zachary Ward is on that pole. David Galloway is in the 2nd place starting position. And then starting 3rd is Elliott Swope in the 33. Starting 4th is John Scheidrich in the 95. Starting in the P5 position is Joe Tardif and the number 88 Chevrolet. Starting P6 is Luke Mahone and the number 34 Toyota Camry. Sorry, Luke. Starting 7th is Steve Mormon in the 26 Toyota Camry. Starting P8 is John Ledger and the number 25, I believe. And starting P9 is Bryn George and the number 54. Starting P10 is Jeffrey Belk and the number 55. Starting P11 is Marshall Dugan and the number 45 Ford Mustang. Starting in the 12th place position is Jeff Laraway in the 71. Starting in the P13th place position is Mark Ward and the number 10. Good to have you back out there, Mark. Good to see you. See you back on track with us. Starting in the 14th place position is Brandon Fiedler. That is last week's winner. He's going to get the EOL tonight. Starting P15th is Corey Goodall in that 333 car. And then starting P16th is Eric Olson in the number 64. Jake Maki also out there on track as well. He will be starting 17th. And starting 18th is Craig Bridge Jr. in the 94. Thank you guys for all coming out and racing with us. There's your starting grid. And thanks for tuning in. All you guys watching out there, leave a comment, say hello, and we'll get things underway here. We'll go ahead and pull up Zachary Ward real quick. Let's talk to him. Hey, Zach, it's David up at the booth. You got me? Zach, you got me real quick?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep. Hey, just want to give you a quick shout out and say congratulations for starting on the pole there, buddy.
Thank you. Yeah, it's my first pole in a while, so hopefully we can keep it up here tonight.
All right, man. Pace truck's about to pull off. Good luck out there. Just want to give you a shout out. Congrats on the pole and those bonus points, and hopefully you guys have a good race.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Flag.
All righty, green flag in the air, and Zachary Ward leads them down into turn number 1. And there you have it, Zachary Ward, number 9, down into turn 1 with David Galloway on the outside of the number 27. Looks like Elliott Swope right on the inside of David Galloway in the 33 car. Look at Joe Tardif all the way at the bottom of the track in the number 88. He's moving his way up there as well. We'll keep an eye on Joe Tardif all race long. I know he's good at these larger tracks, and hopefully he can put that car in victory lane here tonight. The car who won it last week is Zachary Ward, who is on the pole. So we will talk to him later on the race and see how his car is handling. But right now, Zachary Ward on the pole, looking strong so far tonight. Last year's winner at Michigan. We'll see if he can go back to back and get things done here once again. Cars kind of starting to spread out a little bit throughout the pack. We're noticing a couple cars too wide. Corey Goodall in the inside of Bryn George. Also, Brandon Fiedler making his way through the field in that 39. Also, Marshall Dugan to the inside of Mark Ward here, and Jeffrey Belk. They were almost 3 wide there for a moment. Marshall Dugan in the middle of the track. We also got Jake Mackey out there in the number 13. Good to have you out there, Jake. Haven't seen you in a while, but good to talk to you last week at Richmond. I believe we talked to you, trying to get you up here in the booth. But he's back out there racing with us as well. Mythic Metals in the side of that number 13 car. Alrighty, back to the lead. It's Zachary Ward who's still out front. David Galloway Jr. on the inside, though. He is holding off Elliott Swope there side by side. Almost 3 wide there into turn 3. Luke Mahone in the middle of the track. It's a good battle going on for screen. You got John Ledger out there in the 25 car. He's rocking a brand new Monster Energy paint scheme. He's not rocking that black and green scheme this weekend. For Michigan, he's got a red camo, looks like. Pretty cool looking car. We'll see if we can show that up a little bit. There you have it. John Ledger in the 25 car. Alrighty, so out of turn 4, down to the start-finish line. There's Zachary Ward, who's still out front, leading this race. He's led all 5 laps of 100. Luke Mahone all over his bumper as they head down into turn 1. Zachary Ward down at the bottom of the track. Watch that 25 car, though. He's making his way through the field. Looks like he's already made up 5 spots from where he started. He's up to the 3rd place position. We'll keep an eye on John Ledger all race long, but he is on the move in a hurry here at Michigan. Brandon Fiedler right now on track, starting in the rear. He is your biggest mover of the race so far on lap number 6. He has moved up 7 spots along with Corey Goodall. Those 2 guys battling hard for that the biggest mover of the race award. And like I said, plus 7 spots from where Brandon and Corey started. Corey looks like he was going to challenge the inside of the 39, but had to back off just a little bit there through turns 1 and 2. Brandon's going to stay out in front. Look at Joe Tardif side by side with Bryn George, the number 54, down into turn 3. I was trying to see if I could pull up the stats here tonight. It looks like it was not cooperating with me. I'll try again here in a moment. But Joe Tardif's going to back off a little bit there. I'm not sure what happened with Luke Mahone, but it looks like he's kind of lost some ground here. Bryn George looking to the inside of that 34 car. Zachary Ward really loose off of turn 2. Oh, and it's Elliott Swope who's got spun around. Zachary Ward falling back, and they managed to... Caution is out. Caution is out. Elliott Swope has spun around on track. I believe he got a little bit of a help there. Let's go ahead and take another look at that. But Elliott Swope, caution out for the first time on lap number 7 here at Michigan. Alrighty, let's go ahead and take a look. So it looked like Zachary Ward and Elliott Swope both involved. A little bit of contact between the two of them. Oh, it looks like maybe Luke Mahone. We're going to go from another camera angle here. I don't know. We're going to rewind this and take a look because I'm not exactly sure how he got loose here. I thought it was the 34 from behind, but it was not. So the 33 of Elliott Swope on the high side just made a little bit of contact with the 9 car. The 9 car got in the side of the 33. I'm not sure exactly if that was net code, but a little bit of a bump there. And then Zachary Ward also to the bottom of the track. So caution is out. Elliott Swope, lap number 7. Alrighty, back to the front of the field here. It looks like a couple cars on pit. Looks like everybody on pit road this time. And it looks like John Ledger is going to lead them down with Luke Mahone right behind him. Joe Tardif right behind them as well. Bryn George and the rest of the field all following. Corey Goodall looks like the only car that stayed out on track at the moment. But everyone else brings it down pit road. There's Bryn George in the 54 making some, getting some fuel in that car. I don't know if guys are going to be taking tires this early in the race, but I think I think everyone's coming in to top off on fuel. So once this cycles through, Corey Goodall and that 333 will be your leader on lap number 10. I believe we're going to have one more lap of caution here. So far an interesting race. We had a couple different leaders already with under 10 laps. Corey Goodall's leading a lap. John Ledger was out there leading a lap. Zachary Ward was out there leading a lap. And it looked like Elliott Swope almost led a lap as well. So Zachary Ward and Elliott Swope now at the rear end of the field. Jeff Laraway will be scored in the P2 position. Oh, he's actually coming down pit road. Okay, so maybe he's going to top off on fuel. I thought maybe he stayed out there with Corey Goodall, but he's going to bring it down pit road as well. Top that machine off. Okay, give me just a moment here, guys. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can log into my point standings here account. Alrighty, let's go ahead and pull up Corey Goodall in the booth real quick and talk with him. Hey Corey, it's David up at the booth. You got me?
Yeah, David, how's it going?
Hey Corey, see you out there leading some laps, getting those bonus points. How's the race so far with 10 laps in? Can you tell the car's handling well, or what's your strategy here for the rest of the race?
It feels all right. It's a little pushy, but I figured, yeah, I'll go ahead and get those bonus points, and never know if I'll be able to maintain the 0x and not get the incident point bonus, but see what we end up with here. I'm hoping we get another caution quick and I can get in and get the gas and stay on the same sequence as these guys, but we'll see.
Alrighty, well, good luck out there. Yeah, with Michigan, hopefully you stay out of trouble and get those get no incident points, get those bonus points as well. But you already got the ones for leading a lap, and good luck out there. We're going back to green flag racing.
Alrighty, thanks, man.
Alrighty, pace truck is off here at Michigan. And Corey Goodall is going to lead them down to the start-finish line. Eric Olson on the high side on the 64 car. Green flag in the air once again on lap number 11. And there you have it, side by side, Eric Olson and Luke Mahone down to the turn 1. And it's Luke Mahone that's going to edge out in front along with John Ledger in tow right behind him in the 25. Bryn George also moving up the track. I'm not sure if Eric Olson stayed out. That car's kind of fallen back a little bit. I think maybe they did not take tires. I couldn't imagine with 9 laps in that tires would really be a big playing factor here, but Eric Olson falling a little back through the field. He's gained 9 spots from where he started, back now to the 7th place position. Bryn George is having a really good race so far out tonight, showing a lot of speed in that number 54 Toyota Camry. We'll see where he can finish it here tonight. He's got to be faster than Luke Mahone and Zachary Ward if he wants to win this race. But John Ledger as well in that 25 car. He's showing a lot of speed. But don't count him out now. Here comes Brandon Fiedler. He's always fast here at these tracks. In that 39 car, he's making his way through the field. He's already now up to the 4th place position as he's underway to battle Bryn George here in the 54. Those cars now side by side at the start-finish line. Look at David Galloway Jr., the 27, to the bottom of the track, trying to make the pass on these cars 3 wide down into turn 1. Brandon's going to back out of there. He sees a problem. It seemed like he was backing out. Now he's right back in it, right back in the mix. Almost 3 wide once again out of turn 2. And Bryn George hanging on that spot on the inside of John Ledger. These EGR cars looking extremely fast here once again. The 39, 54, and 34 cars, they are all up there in the top 5. I'm liking this battle between Brandon and John Ledger. Looks like Bryn George has made the pass. There's Joe Tardif looking to make the pass on Brandon Fiedler in that 88 car. Look at these cars all stacking up once again, almost 3 wide. And it's Luke Mahone this time battling for the lead with Corey Goodall in the 333. He backs off just a little bit as they head down into turn 1. We talked to Corey Goodall moments ago, and he was talking about how he needs to have a caution, hopefully, because he's going to have to come down pit road, top off that fuel tank. It'll be exciting to see what happens here. Look at these cars. They always seem like they handle extremely well here at Michigan. They seem like they put on a really good show for you guys. There's no exception here tonight. These cars are Luke Mahone way up the track, almost into the wall this time. But it seems like these cars always handle really well here at Michigan as you see them 3 wide once again out of turn 2. A little bit of a bump there, Elliott Swope and Bryn George. But 3 wide going down the backstretch into turn 3. It's Elliott Swope, David Galloway Jr., and Luke Mahone. Oh, and there's a spin. David Galloway Jr., Luke Mahone. Caution is out.
Doing a really good job. Tell me about your
Cars are piling up. Zachary Ward involved once again. We saw this happen last week at Richmond. The hood is up on Zachary Ward's car. He's got nowhere to go. He was just involved with that. Let's take a look, see if he's got the same issue as last time. And he sure does. Zachary Ward with the hood up once again. How does that happen 2 weeks in a row? It's unfortunate for those guys. But Zachary Ward's going to have to nurse that car back to pit road, relying on the spotter. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what happened. And it looked like David Galloway Jr. involved with the 34. Let's go ahead and back that up just a little bit and see what happened here. So we saw contact between the 27 and the 34. And there you have them right there side by side on track. And we'll go ahead and give you guys another camera angle here. So 27 and 34 on track. We're going to go ahead and play this. It looked like the 27 right there in the middle of the track. The 34 looks like it came down a little bit. It just wasn't quite clear. And came down right in front of the 27, and the 27 was right there at the left rear quarter panel and just got spun around the nose of that car. And then Zachary Ward in the wrong place at the wrong time with heavy damage to the front of that car. Hopefully he didn't use his fast repair already, because it looks like he's going to have to use that fast repair down pit road this time. But there you have it, guys. Lots of cars with some damage. Second caution of the night is out. Sharon, thank you for stopping by and saying hello. Sharon Laraway says, happy Thursday. Good luck 71 and 94. Hey, they were doing great early in this race. Second caution of the night is out, though. It looked like Jeff Laraway back on pit road once again. Maybe he's going to top off this time. It looked like he just missed that wreck, but he was also up there in the mix from that first caution. Looked like he stayed out for some track position. So Jeff Laraway making some moves here at Michigan. Hoping for a really good showing here tonight. And also Craig Bridge Jr. out there, the number 94. Also trying to stay out of harm's way as well. We'll be keeping an eye on him all race long to see where he can advance that number, 94 Ford Mustang. Alrighty, the guy who benefited the most from this caution, there you have it, Corey Goodall. We talked to him right before the restart. He stayed out with a little bit of a strategy call here for some track position. And he was the car with the least amount of fuel. I believe a couple other cars stayed out. I believe Eric Olson might have stayed out as well. But he benefited the most from this caution, came down pit road, got that fuel topped off once again, and now he is up there in the mix running P3. So Corey Goodall, a little bit of a strategy call here at Michigan, and it's paying out. That really played out in his favor. Alrighty, your race leader right now is Joe Tardif, lap number 19. Getting ready to go green flag racing once again this lap. And it looks like John Ledger on the inside of Joe Tardif. Elliott Swope is back there in the P3 position. Looks like he rebounded nicely from that first caution of the race. He made a little bit of contact with Zachary Ward, spun out, and was in the rear. And now he's made his way back up to P3. So Elliott Swope rebounded nicely. How about John Scheidrich, though, in the 95? John out there having a good showing so far. He's inside the top 10, running P6 right now on this restart. Looking for a good run. He says he's not real good at these cars, but so far so good out there here at Michigan. Just needs to stay out of harm's way and hoping for a good race. All righty, pace truck is off. We're getting ready to go green flag racing here on lap number 20. Thank you, Sharon. Appreciate you for saying hello. I know I already said that, but I appreciate when you guys come out and say hi. And Joe Tardif with a rocket of a launch leads them down into turn 1. Alrighty, and there you have it. There is the field down through turn 1. Joe Tardif out front. John Ledger on the inside in the 25. He's back there P2. Elliott Swope P3, and it's Brandon Fiedler in P4. Corey Goodall back to P5. Luke Mahone on the outside of him. Looks like Luke, after bringing it down pit road, looks like he rebounded pretty nicely. But yeah, I love Michigan racing here with these next-gen cars. These cars seem to battle extremely well. You can run side by side, either run the high line or the middle line. I believe the middle line is usually the preferred, but this is definitely a multi-line track. And as you can see it here, you have Joe Tardif and Elliott Swope battling for the lead side by side, and Brandon's just waiting to make his move on these two guys and that 39 car. But I wish I was out there racing with them. Always enjoy racing here at Michigan. Yeah, Brandon right there on the high side. Look at looking to make the pass down low, but he swings back up high. Joe Tardif with the block, and they are side by side down in through turn 1. These guys putting on a really good battle. Lap 22 of 100. And I was talking about Joe with Corey Goodall earlier. And we really haven't seen him like we saw him last year. He hasn't had the finishes he's been looking for. And I believe he just needs a really good solid finish here. I know he's really good at these 2 mile and above tracks. But we've been keeping an eye on Joe Tardif, and we've been wondering when he's going to shine. And so far this race, he's been putting on a heck of a battle so far for the lead. We're going to keep an eye on Joe Tardif all race long. But he's been showing that he's got a really fast car in that number 88 Chevy Camaro. Needs to have a good solid run. He's locked in the playoffs as we speak. He has 1 win this season. Right now, top 5 in the overall 2024 standings. We'll keep an eye on Joe. Right now, he's got 1 fast car out there as well, and Brandon Fiedler to the lead. I'm starting in the back. Elliott Swope also has a fast car out there as well in that 33 Chevy Camaro. Elliott, who we talked about moments ago, rebounding extremely nicely, running the P3. Had a little bit of a mishap on track with that first caution. And already back up there towards the front. Another driver that I'm really impressed with out there as well is Bryn George in the 54 car. He is showing a lot of speed out there tonight in that Toyota Camry. And he's battling side by side with John Ledger. And he was up there, he started, it looks like, I think he started P9, and he's already up there towards the front. He's been up there in the front already once earlier this race. And now he's up to P5, moved up 4 spots. Keep an eye on him. Craig Bridge Jr. as well, making his way through the field in the number 94. Craig has moved up 10 spots from where he started, up to P8. So he's having a heck of a start to this race already. 2 cautions in, a little bit of strategy for these guys. Steve Moorman in the 26. We haven't talked about him much lately. He's moved up 1 spot from where he started. I know that's those 2 cautions really shook things up. But he's kind of riding right there in line with everybody in front of him. Alrighty, here's the battle on screen. For 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and Steve Moorman right now is top 5. This is what I'm talking about, how well these cars race here at Michigan. You can run the high line, as you see Luke Mahone in the 34 car way up the high side of the track, and Bryn George in the 54 all the way in the bottom. But look at the run. The high side gets off the corner. That bottom car, Bryn George, kind of stalls out a little bit going on the backstretch. But you can run the top or bottom. You saw Luke Mahone now switched up to the middle. He's going to exit out on the high side. Michigan is such a great track. Steve Moorman really closing in the gap on Joe Tardif here in the 88, looking through the middle now. He's going to be off the throttle as he's side by side with Joe Tardif down the backstretch. See if he's going to make the pass this time. Look at Craig Bridge in the 94. He's making his way up there. That car is looking pretty fast here in Michigan. Bridge up to the 6th place position. Elliott Swope kind of falling back a little bit there. There is the battle. Steve Moorman, Joe Tardif. Brandon Fiedler really checking out right now in the front. There's quite a big gap between Brandon and Luke, who's P1 and P2. But there is your field. Right on board with Steve Mormon. There's the distance from the leaders in front of him, first, second, and third. So Joe Tardif, who's showing a lot of speed out here tonight, looks like he tires are falling off a little bit here. He's now falling back to the P5 position. Craig Bridge right behind him. I'm really impressed with Craig Bridge right now, who's moved up 12 spots from where he started, running P6. So we'll keep an eye on Craig Bridge. He's looking to make the pass on Joe Tardif. Another guy who we haven't talked about much lately is Jeffrey Belk in the number 55. Jeffrey had an amazing run at Rockingham, won that race, and hasn't really shown much speed since. He's hoping for a good finish. Marshall Dugan slides up the track right in front of him in the 45. But Jeffrey Belk needs a good run here. Looked like Marshall Dugan went all the way up the track and grazed the wall a little bit there through turns 3 and 4. Cars are starting to space apart a little bit here. There is the gap between the front pack, and then there's 2 cars in the middle followed by the rear pack. And Luke Mahone currently has the lead as he gets around Brandon Fiedler just moments ago. Look at the Brandon Fiedler in the 39 car all over the bumper of Luke Mahone in the 34. He's still hanging on quite a bit here. As they exit turn 2 down the backstretch, it's 1, 2, 3 all Toyota cars and 4 Steve Mormon as well. Team EGR showing a lot of speed here at Michigan. It'll be interesting to see if we stay caution-free for the rest of the race. Alrighty, guys, I know I didn't bring up the current playoff standings. This is after Pocono. Like I said earlier in the video, Zachary Ward was slacking here. Didn't make the new graphic for us, but right now there's your playoff standings before Richmond last week. Corey Goodall still has the playoff standings lead, followed by John Ledger. And now, keep in mind, this is the playoff standings. This is not the overall standings. So this is with playoff points involved. The overall standings do not have playoff points. But there's your current standings, and it looks like Elliott Swope has moved up inside the top 16. He is on the bubble right there with Mark Ward on the outside, Matt Heel 18th, Patrick Lucio 19th, and Luke Mahone 20th. All those drivers are currently racing to get inside the top 16. Mark Ward, we weren't sure if he was coming back, but he is out there on track with us as well tonight. And it's good to see Mark Ward back out. There you have Mark Ward in the number 10 car. Alrighty, this back group of cars is all bunched up together. I think tire fall off is really coming in a factor here. A lot of these guys are falling back off pace a little bit. I think they're probably saving the tires. The tires are wearing down. Kind of losing some traction, some ground here to the front pack. The front pack's kind of pulling away a little bit with that's Luke Mahone, Brandon, Bryn, and Steve Mormon. Craig Bridge Jr. up there as well, though. He has gained positions. Craig Bridge Jr. is in the top 5 as we speak in the number 94. So he's putting on a heck of a show here, or heck of a good run, rather, here at Michigan. Needs a good finish here. Well, back up here to the front, it's Luke Mahone, and now Bryn George has made the pass on Brandon Fiedler. So Team EGR looking really strong here on lap number 40 of 100. Not quite halfway just yet, but who do you guys think is going to win it here? Come out, say hello, let us know. Tell us who you're rooting for out there on track. Right now, it looks like it's going to be one of the Toyota boys once again. Unless someone's got something for these guys. Alrighty, I finally got logged into my point standings, and look at the battle between Brandon and Luke Mahone here on track. Brandon goes up to the high side through turns 3 and 4. Luke Mahone on the bottom side. He's going to back off just a little bit. Looks like Luke edged him out. See, that's the thing about the Michigan, is sometimes that high side is better than the low side, but not in this case. It looked like Brandon was going to get the run off the corner, but just didn't quite have enough. They're almost going 3 wide down through turn 2. Luke Mahone still out front in the 34 car. So as I was mentioning, I was trying to log in to view the points for you guys. Right now, the overall point standings, Corey Goodall does have the current 2024 season point lead, followed by John Ledger, who is P2. Matthew Karakoff still has the 3rd overall position. This is after 23 races have been counted. We do have some drop races involved as well at the end of the Cup Series. We have 1 drop per season, Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup, and those 3 drops will reflect after the season. Marshall Dugan right now is P4 overall, and Brandon Fiedler currently has a top 5 overall as well. But Brandon Fiedler in the 39 car has 11 top 5s this season, 6 wins. Zachary Ward also with 10 top 5s, and John Ledger with 10 top 5s as well. We're a little bit surprised at Zachary Ward trying to make his way through the field. I know he had a little bit of a run-in early in this race and had that hood come flying up under the 2nd caution. We'll be watching him to see if he can make his way back through the field. Eric Olson also trying to get up there through the field in that 64 car. Eric's currently running in the 9th place position. He's moved up 7 spots from where he started. So racing his heart out there, trying to get everything he can out of that Oreo 64 Chevy Camaro. Jeff Laraway in the 71. He's currently running P10. He's also gained 2 spots from where he started this race. Right now, your 2 biggest movers of the race are Craig Bridge Jr. in the 94 and Brandon Feather in the 39. If Brandon does not lead this, win this race, he is battling Craig for the most positions gained on track right now. Right now, those 2 guys going for those points battle. Right now, there's your 2 leaders. Brandon in the 39 looking at the high side. Oh, they're coming down pit road. Couple cars down pit road. And Elliott Swope stays out along with John Scheidrich and the backpack. Back of the field, they all stay out. Eric Olson, Corey Goodall, John Ledger, they all stay out on track as the Toyotas bring their cars down pit road. So your new race leader, Zachary Ward, who we talked about moments ago, trying to rebound from that mishap and that second caution. Lap number 47, these guys are going to stay out. We'll see when they're going to pit, but now Zachary Ward is your current leader. A little bit of a announcement I want to make. I was talking with Doug Burns of How to Suck at iRacing. If you haven't watched his broadcast, check them out. He does a great job, and I learned a lot from him. One thing he was talking to me about is the graphics and transitions of broadcasting, and I haven't had time with work to really get on here and update the graphics. As far as that scoring pylon on the left side of your screen, I did have a Fun League icon that was up there before. Had a little bit of an issue with the SDK broadcasting app, and I had to reboot it and re-put it up, and had some issues, but Doug's been helping me through it. Hopefully I get everything all situated and I'll get that graphic back up. A couple cars on pit road, Zachary Ward, Corey Goodall, Eric Olson. But yeah, we'll get that updated for you guys, and also the transitions, and I got some work to do with the app, and hopefully I'll get it all worked out. I've just been so busy at work, I just haven't had the time. But cars on pit road. John Ledger as well in the 25 Monster Energy Chevy Camaro. He's on pit road. So after things cycle through, right now Joe Tardif will be your current leader and that number 88. And he does. Joe goes to the top spot. Luke Mahone now 3.6 seconds back off the lead. I believe Joe still has yet to pit. And he's got some fast cars coming up behind him. There is the rest of the guys who pitted already. We're coming up to halfway this time by. And it looks like those EGR boys kind of got split up a little bit. I mean, you still have the 34 of Luke Mahone and the 39 of Brandon Feather working together. But the rest of the field kind of further back. Bryn George back there in the P5 position. And John Scheidrich right behind him. Steve Moorman as well. Those two cars battling side by side on screen. Scheidrich up into the 6th position and Moorman in the 7th position. Looks like the 95 is going to edge him out. Down the backstretch they go. Out of P2 or turn 2. John's really got nothing to worry about in that number 95 car. He's had a heck of a season right now in the 12th place position overall. He is currently inside the playoffs and will be inside the round of 16. He currently has 1 win that locked him inside the playoffs. 1 top 5 and 8 top 10s with us in the iRacing Fun League. Looking for a good showing here at Michigan. We're also going to keep an eye on Elliott Swope in that 33 car. He's back up there to the 3rd place position. I think he just has a little bit of strategy involved here. We'll see if it works out for him. He, in the long run, it seems like those tires really fall off that car. But we'll see if that plays out for him. Luke Mahone right behind him. It looks like Brandon Fiedler made the pass and kind of ran away with it. He is now up to P2 in that 39 car. Talk about consistency all race or all season long. Brandon Fiedler, top 5 overall in the point standings, 11 top 5s and 13 top 10s with 6 wins. He is the most consistent driver on track, has been consistent every single race. It seems like if he doesn't win the race, he's in contention for the win in the top 3. So keep your eye on that number 39 car. This race is not over yet as he's trying to chase down the leader of Joe Tardif in the 88. We'll see if he can go back-to-back from winning Richmond and Michigan. We'll see if he can win it here tonight. Joe Tardif still out front in that 88 car. Showing a lot of speed. You know who we haven't seen out here in a while and who I haven't talked to or mentioned in a while is Kane Vandemark. Kane, who runs the number 6 car, has not been out on track in a while. Kane, we're missing you if you're watching these races. Wishing you're out there on track. Also, Donald Bennett. Donald, we haven't seen you in a while. Also, Willie Mann Jr. He's also a lot of fun to talk to, and missing him on track as well. Randy Cawthon, he's always a good one to talk to as well. Some of the guys we've raced with on track this season just hasn't had time to come out there and race with us, but always fun having you guys out there, missing you guys on track. And also my good buddy Nicholas Winnuck. We always had really good races together. Just a couple guys haven't seen out on track in a while. If you guys saw it moments ago, Brandon Fiedler just took the win away from Joe Tardif and kind of blew his doors off there. Made the pass and ran away with the lead. I believe Joe Tardif is on a little bit of a different strategy here at Michigan. If this stays green in the long run, Joe might be onto something here. I believe those tires starting to wear down, probably in tire save mode. There is the gap between P1 and P2. That's how far ahead the leader has pulled from Joe Tardif. I want to appreciate y'all for tuning in here on iRacing Fun League. This is our Thursday night asphalt series, and this is the 2024 Road to Cup season. .58 laps have been completed of 100 here at Michigan International Speedway. So far, we've had 2 cautions. And seen many different lead changes all race long. Just to name a few, we've had Brandon Fiedler lead some laps along with Luke and Corey Goodall, Joe Tardif, Elliott Swope in the mix as well, and Zachary Ward, all just a couple names that have led all race long. We'll see if Zachary Ward can rebound from that mishap, and that second caution was involved in no doing of his own, just was in the wrong place at the wrong time. He's trying to make his way back through the field after he made his last pit stop. He's now up to P9. That is last year's winner right there in the number 9 car. Let's go ahead and see if we could pull up our leaders. Seems like now is a good time to talk to him. And we'll see if we can chat with him as we watch this 39 car lead this race. Hey, Brand, it's David on the booth. You got me?
Yeah, what's up, David?
Hey, man, you're showing a lot of speed in that 39 car out front. How is the race going, and how do you plan to attack the rest of this half of the race?
Well, the race is going pretty good right now. I think we all should be able to make it on one more stop. It's going to be more if we can cover off Tardif's undercut for this last pit stop. He got a lot farther ahead than I expected him to for this last round of pit stops. So the EG guys, so Luke, Bryn, Steve, Jeff, all of us are kind of just motioning or going through the motions right now, trying to save a little. They're trying to save a little bit of gas. I decided to go full throat at it and get up here as fast as I could because I feel like we can just do it. But yeah, other than that, everything's going really, really well.
Awesome. Good to hear from you. And yeah, we were wondering about that as well, if Joe Tardif is on a little bit of a different strategy, if he's going to make that work in the closing laps or not. But we've seen how the tires are starting to wear off, and you really pulled up far out in front of him. Now, do tires fall off pretty bad here at Michigan?
I guess it kind of depends on where you run. My tires are actually they're okay right now. Once Luke, Bryn, and Steve and Jeff get up here, it'll be a little bit easier to conserve the tires, I think. But I do think if you're not in some kind of a draft or anything like that, the tire fall off can actually be pretty substantial here.
All right, well, good to know. Thanks for chatting with us, Brandon, and good luck out there. We'll be watching you, and maybe we'll talk to you later in this race.
Yeah, sounds good, David.
All right, there you heard it from your race leader, Brandon Feeler, in the 39 car. All right, we'll move on back. It looks like Luke Mahone is back up to P2. Bryn George up to P3, and Steve Mormon is P4. Jeffrey Belk rounds out P5. So right now, the EGR boys are all 1 through 5 on track, with Joe Tardif losing ground here. And number 88, he is back there to P6. And it looks like he's on a little bit of a different strategy call. It'll be interesting to see if this plays out for Joe. As we come to lap 63, or we're on 63 to 64 this time by, he is going to have the freshest tires after this cycles through, and it'll be interesting to see if he can win this thing in the closing laps or not. As we mentioned, Brandon said he was on a bit of different strategy call, and he's trying to undercut the leaders, and it seems to be working out. He was surprised that he got further out in front than he was expecting, so we'll be watching Joe and see where he can put that car in the closing laps of this race. So keep your eye on that number 88 Exalta Chevy Camaro. Alrighty, moving on back to the field. Zachary Ward up to the P7 position. Elliott Swope in P8, followed by John Scheidrich III in P9. And right now, Corey Goodall rounds out your top 10 in the 333 car. John Ledger, I'm kind of surprised he's kind of fallen back through the field. He was showing that he had a really fast car here at Michigan. Might have had a little bit of a mishap earlier in the race, but that 25 car, who showed a lot of speed, now back there in the P12 position. Marshall Dugan right behind him in P13. Right behind Marshall Dugan is Jeff Laraway in the 14 car. And on the inside of him is Eric Olson, the 64, and trying to make the pass down the backstretch. And he does. Eric will make the pass around Jeff Laraway and move it up to P14. David Galloway Jr., who we saw earlier in this race, have a lot of speed as well. He was up there, started on the outside pole in that 27 car. And we'll see if we can pull up him and talk with him, see what happened with that car. Hey, David, it's David up at the booth. You got me?
Hey, what's going on, Woody?
Hey, man, we just wanted to say, give you a shout out. We saw you with a lot of speed early on this race and wanted to know what happened, if anything happened at all. But we saw you on the outside pole. Anything happened to put you back towards the back of the field?
Yeah, we were fighting up in the field there, probably in the top 7 or 8, and then just had Luke Mahone come down across my nose, getting into 3 and spin him out, and it basically killed the car completely. And came in the pits, didn't want to burn up my quick repair, and ended up running 15 laps without fixing it totally, and then used it on the last green flag run, and just for whatever reason can't keep up with these guys. So we're hanging in just to finish.
Alrighty, well I hear you. Yeah, it seems like tire fall off is kind of big here tonight. It seems like a lot of guys on different strategies, and it's like once you get there, once you get out of the sync with everybody else, it's hard to get back up there towards the front.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, just having somebody come across my nose when we're 3 wide and just didn't help at all. And we're just back here struggling, just gonna hang on and salvage what we can and move on to next week.
All right, David. Well, good to hear from you, and hoping your luck turns around. But good luck out there tonight.
Thank you. Look forward to Daytona next week.
All righty, take it easy, David. There you heard it from David Galloway Jr. in the number 27 Camaro. Jake Maki, who came out to race with us, is actually off track as we speak here at Michigan. We're on lap number 69. I was going to pull up Jake Maki, but looks like he actually had to pull off track. Back to the lead of this race. We're on lap number 69, and your current leader is Luke Mahone in the 34 Toyota Camry. Brandon Fiedler is P2, Steve Mormon P3, and Bryn George P4. Jeffrey Belk rounds out your top 5. And look who is coming through the field. Zachary Ward in the number 9 car. He's moved his way up to P6. He's still 5 spots back from where he started. He is your pole sitter for Michigan. Trying to rebound nicely. That car is very fast out there tonight. Just needs to have a good solid run. He's just trying to put some laps together to try to get back up there towards the front pack. Doing everything he can. We'll see if we can show you guys the distance. So there is Zachary Ward in the number 9. In front of him is P5 of Jeffrey Belk. And that's how far he has to go to catch that group. We'll see if he can get it done here at Michigan. It's interesting that I was talking about Kane Vandermark earlier. I know this is after Pocono, not after Richmond, but after the Pocono race, Kane Vandermark is still inside the top 16 in the playoffs, even though he hasn't been here in a while. So it'll be interesting to see where he falls back to. I know overall he's lost 3 spots after Richmond. So on my screen, he's actually scored in the 14th place position. We're also missing Wes Gallo out there tonight. Wes Gallo, unfortunately, did not make Michigan. I believe he mentioned last week that he wasn't going to make it tonight. Wes Gallo says he's missing tonight, but it's worth it. He's out there seeing ZZ Top, so I think that's a good excuse not to be out on track. So, Wes Gallo, hope you're enjoying your concert. Seeing ZZ Top. That's a pretty cool, good excuse not to be out there on track. All right, it looks like Brandon Fiedler is going to bring it down pit road, followed by Zachary Ward right behind him. Those 2 cars trying to make some, get some fuel topped off and some new tires put on. John Ledger as well down pit road in the number 25. It's going to be interesting to see where Joe Tardif ends up, though. Keep your eye on that 88 car because he's on a good strategy here. See if it plays out for him. But right now, Luke Mahone stays out in the 34 car. And I take that back. He's on pit road this time by on lap number 73. Steve Mormon as well. He brings that Toyota Camry down pit road. Alrighty, so Jeffrey Belk is currently your race leader. Followed by Corey Goodall in the 333 car and Craig Bridge Jr. currently 3rd. Oh, Joe says you didn't take your last set, hoping for a caution set of freshies. It's not. I'm not going to matter yet. Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, we were talking about you all race long, Joe, and trying to see if we're interested in your race strategy. We were watching you lead some laps up there, and we were talking to the leader, Brandon, a little bit ago, and we're liking your strategy, and it's been real interesting to see where you're going to end up after it's all said and done. We've been watching that 88 car on track, showing a lot of speed all race long, and we're going to be watching him and his strategy to see how it plays out. Right now, Joe is currently scored in the top 10. I'm waiting to see how his strategy plays out with him coming down pit road, getting those freshies towards the closing laps. We've got 26 laps to go this time by. Corey Goodall right now is your race leader. Corey trying to get as many bonus points as he can. Hopefully he didn't have any incidents out there. If he has no incidents, he'll get bonus points for that as well. But also for leading a lap, Corey trying to take advantage of everything he can. And Eric Olson right now being scored in the P2 position. Marshall Dugan's going to go on by. Looks like he just came off pit road with some fresh tires. And that's the difference right there, how much fresh tires matter. As you can see, Eric Olson falling back from the 45 car, but the 45 right now lap down as we speak, trying to get his lap back from Corey Goodall. So Corey Goodall out front with 24 laps to go, still has yet to make that pit stop, the final of the race. It's going to be interesting to see if we go caution free. I think cars are pretty spread out. And looks like Corey Goodall is going to pit this time by. So he brings it down pit road for the final time. All right, after things get cycled through, it looks like these are going to be your two leaders, Brandon Fiedler in the 39 and Luke Mahone in the 34 car. As I mentioned moments ago, Joe Tardif in that 88 car, he has yet to come down pit road. If he gets those fresh tires, he's still in the lead lap. Let's see if he can pull this win off. Alrighty, Corey Goodall off pit road and Eric Olson on pit road as well. Making their final stops here at Michigan. .22 laps to go left in this race. This race is winding down, and the strategies are going to come into play huge here tonight. Right now, the two leaders of Brandon and Luke, also on kind of a little different strategies. The two of these guys did not pit together. And I believe Luke has the fresher of the tires as he's back there in P2. So it's going to be interesting to see where these guys end up. Yeah, everybody's so spaced out apart right now. I don't know if we're going to have one more caution. Usually when these cars got all bunched up together, we saw them run 2 and 3 wide. But as this race winds down with 21 laps to go, it may be caution free. And we'll be watching these guys battle for the lead. I believe these guys can finish with as much fuel they have left in the tank. But we're interested to see where Joe Tardif is going to finish. 20 laps to go this time by Joe, up in the wall a little bit there. I believe he is running out of time. Keith Abbott came out and said, "Come on, Marshall." Keith, I appreciate you for coming out and saying hello. Marshall Dugan's not doing too bad out there tonight in that 45 car. Let's see if we can pull up Marshall in the booth and have a chat with him. Hey, Marshall, it's Dave in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir. I got you loud and clear, buddy.
Hey, Marshall, just want to give you a shout out and see how your race is going out there tonight in the 45 car.
It's going pretty good. The car handles pretty good tonight. Strategy was thrown off there at the beginning when we had those 2 cautions, but overall, I'm hanging in there. I mean, I feel good. I can move the car around. Feels good up high. The last run I had, it felt really good up top, and right now I'm battling Freight Bridge for 11. Car it just wants to go everywhere it wants to go. Bottom, middle. It's kind of like Chicagoland. It just feels really good.
Oh yeah, definitely. Chicagoland and Michigan, man, those are 2 of my favorite tracks. Not just because I've been there myself, but they just put on a heck of a lot of good racing. The cars seem to handle the best there.
Yeah, they are handling pretty good tonight. I'm just happy that I'm out here running and able to get a good run. I'm sitting 12th right now. I'll take a 12th compared to what I've been going through the past 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, I hear you. Definitely need some luck going your way, and need some speed out of that car for sure.
Yes, sir. I'm looking forward to Daytona next week also.
Yep, Daytona's going to be a really good race. I'm looking forward to that as well. We're going to put on a heck of a show there, and hopefully we'll have a good finish as well. I mean, anyone can win it, so that's going to be a good race for you as well.
Exactly. I'm looking forward to it.
Alrighty, Marshall, I'll let you get back to it and concentrate there, and good luck. Maybe we'll talk to you later on.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
Alrighty, there you heard it from Marshall Dugan in the 45 car. Alrighty, back to the lead. It is Brandon in the 39 car out front, followed by Luke Mahone in P2. Zachary Ward has made his way up to P3. Like I said, don't count that number 9 out. He is fast, and he is last year's winner of the Michigan race. So keep an eye on that number 9 car. A little bit of blink there on that 9, but 54 of Bryn George right behind him. We've got 16 laps to go. We were wondering if Joe was going to chase these leaders down with some fresh tires, but it looks like it's not going to happen. Time is running out. 16 laps to go. I think he's running out of time. Let's see if we can pull up that track map. There you have it. So the leaders are at the start-finish line as they head down into turn 1. And it looks like Joe Tardif is just exiting turn 2. So he's on the lead lap, but the leaders are catching him quickly. We'll kind of leave that track map up as we go forward with 15 laps to go, just so you guys can get an idea of where cars are at on track. But that 88 slowing down, not looking like he's having the race he wanted. I think he's kind of just begging for a caution as we speak. Alrighty, so not much has changed in the last couple laps. Brandon Fiedler still out front, Luke Mahone P2, and Zachary Ward P3. I believe Luke has 1 or 2 lap fresher tires than the rest of than Brandon here. So in these closing laps, I think the 34 car might be setting them up as you see them battling right now. The 34 Luke Mahone is closing in on the lead of Brandon Fiedler. Alrighty, so there is your current leaderboard on the left side of the screen. Jake Maki out of the car. Mark Ward is 4 laps down. David Galloway is 1 lap down. Joe Tardif has made his way to pit road for the final time. And I believe that car is almost out of fuel. So he's going to have to top that off. 12 laps to go. I don't think this is the call he was looking for originally. I think he was probably banking on a caution to come out. So he brings that car down pit road for the final time. And he misses his pit stall. We got that on camera. Sorry, Joe. So as we were talking about Joe early on in the broadcast, we were mentioning he needs a good run and needs a little bit of luck to go his way. He had a really fast car out there in Michigan, but the strategy he was on just did not quite work out the way he really intended. It looked like it was good early on in the race. But as we stay caution-free for the rest of this race with 11 laps to go, I believe that strategy's kind of fallen out of place. All right, it looks like it's going to be 10 laps to go here at the line this time by. Brandon Fiedler still out front. Can he go back-to-back, or is Luke Mahone going to steal the show and take another win here at Michigan International Speedway? The 34 looking at the inside down through turn 1. And these are your 2 leaders here. Right now, they are still putting up the fastest laps of the race. Looks like Eric Olson put down a really fast lap too. All these cars are running about 40-second lap times, and it looked like Eric Olson had a 40-second flat the last time by. Corey Goodall with a 39.68. That's an extremely fast lap. But there is Luke Mahone, who is making the pass on Brandon Fiedler for the lead. With 9 laps to go, he has taken over that lead. And I believe those tires, the 39 car, are officially falling off at this point. Zachary Ward still 2 seconds back. I don't think he's going to have enough time to catch these leaders, but he's trying everything he can to get to them with 8 laps to go. And look at this. They were almost side by side through turn 1 and 2. I had to switch off them for just a second. But it looks like Brandon is not giving up just yet. We'll see if he can get back around the 34 car Luke Mahone and take this lead back. I'm also impressed with Steve Mormon in that 26 car. He's inside the top 5, trying to keep Jeffrey Belk behind him. Looking for a good run. Steve Mormon needs to have as many points as he can get in as many positions. He is right now 15th in the standings. And this is also before Richmond. Like I said, I did not get the graphic for Michigan, or after Richmond actually last week. But Steve Mormon is looking to have a good run here. As long as he can keep Jeffrey Belk behind him, he'll be inside the top 5. Also, Bryn George for missing out. I believe he missed out last week or the week before. Having a good race here in P4. So 6 more laps to go this time by. Leaders head out of turn 2. And there is Joe Tardif right behind him. He is 1 lap down, unfortunately, on fresh tires. Oh, actually, Joe Tardif is 2 laps down at this point. The current car 1 lap down is David Galloway Jr. in the 27. So Joe Tardif is going to go on by in those fresh tires, and that's how much of a difference the fresh tires make. And he's going to breeze on by the 2 leaders. to go 1 lap down. So if a caution does come out with inside 5 laps to go, David Galloway is going to get that free pass. Unless Joe Tardif can make the pass on him. Let's see how far he's got to go. David Galloway is currently heading down into turn 1 and 2 as we speak, where Joe Tardif is currently at the start-finish line. So a lot of track to make up if he wants to get to that free pass. Four laps to go this time by. And it's still Luke Mahone out front in the 34 with Brandon Feeler right behind him. So far, the 39 is not able to get that position back to lead this race. Right on board with Brandon Feeler in the 39 car at the line. Mahone is right there in front of him as they head down into turn 1. We got 3 laps to go. I know a lot of guys are hoping for a caution at this point. Two laps to go this time by. There is the battle for first, Luke Mahone and Brandon Feeler. And there you have it. Luke Mahone with the win. Not the exciting finish everybody was kind of hoping for here at Michigan. Everybody got kind of strung out real far. But Luke Mahone steals the show from Brandon Feeler and comes away home with the win. Checkered flag in the air. Luke Mahone gets his, I believe, let's take a look here. I believe he has 4 wins already this season. This is his 5th win of the season. Actually, it looks like maybe the 4th win of the season. All right, there you have it. Luke Mahone with the win at the start-finish line. Let's see if he does his little victory burnout here. There's your finishing results on screen. We'll go ahead and pull that up for you in just a moment. All righty, Luke Mahone with the win. Brandon Feeler comes home P2. Zachary Ward P3. Bryn George came home P4. Steve Mormon was P5. Steve with a heck of a show. Had a great race out there in Michigan. Jeffrey Bell came home P6. Corey Goodall P7. John Ledger P8. Craig Bridge Jr. came home P9. And Elliott Swope came home P10. Running in 11th position was Marshall Dugan. And finishing 12th, Eric Olson. finished 13th. Jeff Laraway, 14th. John Shirish III, 15th. Joe Tardif. David Galloway Jr. comes home P16. P17 was Mark Ward, and Jake Maki rounds out the tail of the field, and P18. All right, there's Luke Mahone, who puts it down in victory lane here at Michigan Speedway. All righty, let's go ahead and see if we can pull up our race winner. Hey, Luke, it's David on the booth. You got me?
Yeah.
Hey, Luke, congratulations on the win at Michigan. Had a really fast car all race long. Walk us through those closing laps. Did you have just a couple laps newer, fresher tires, and how did you keep Brandon there behind you?
Well, we were in the same voice chat the whole race, and then we pulled away, and then when we came out, well, let me back up. So we pit, and the original plan was to pit on lap 75, and then Brandon said, like, on lap 72, like, hey, I'm pitting in. And I was like, oh, Brandon, you're switching it up, trying to take an alternative strategy. And so I decided to pit the lap after him, because if you have better tires than somebody in this track, you're going to fly by them. So I wanted to prevent that. So I pit, and then we came out, like, right on each other. And I was like, so you want to fight for it? And then he was like, I don't know. And I was like, all right, no worries. And then I told him, we'll run single file here, and then 10 to go. We're not teammates anymore, and we're going to race for it. And so that's what we did. And then I think I passed him, like, with 7 or 8 to go. And yeah, I thought he was sandbagging the whole time and was just going to drive by me on that last lap. But yeah, I'm surprised to win here, especially after that big old wreck.
Yeah, it was interesting watching you guys, because I know you mentioned that he pitted earlier before you and you pitted a lap after. Did that one lap make a difference on tires, or did it just seem like you ran a much smoother race in the closing laps?
I think it might have. It might have been very slight, but it definitely helped a little, I think. But yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting watching you guys battle, and I know he pitted before you, but man, it seemed like those fresh tires really mattered, as we saw Joe Tardif waiting to use his last set. He just used them way too late. But yeah, the new tires really did blow by everybody else, the rest of the field.
Oh yeah, Joe Tardif. I don't know if you saw, he would pit early and then just fly by. He like undercut us, but then we get back by him. So yeah, new tires, you can fly away, but they get used up pretty quick.
Most definitely. Yeah, it was an interesting race, and we saw all the different strategies play out. But congratulations on the win, and good to hear from you. Good to talk to you, and hope you enjoy that win. Hopefully you have a good weekend. We'll see you next week, and we'll talk to you soon.
Oh yeah, the Daytona.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one.
Oh yeah, it's gonna. I'm glad to start in the back that race.
Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely would want to start back there too.
Brandon mentioned that while we were racing. I was like, oh, that makes me want to win even more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Alrighty, Luke.
All right.
It was good hearing from you. Hope you have a good weekend. We'll see you next week at Daytona.
All right. See you, man. Thank you for broadcasting.
No problem. Take it easy. Alrighty, there you heard it from your race leader. Luke Mahone comes home P1. Let's go ahead and pull up Brandon, who came home P2. And see if we can dial him up here. Hey, Brands, David on the booth. You got me?
Yeah, what's up, David?
Hey, man, good race for you overall. We were just talking to our race leader, Luke Mahone, and we noticed that you pitted early, kind of moved off the little strategy you guys had going on. Now, do you feel like that might have messed you up, giving him one lap fresher tires, or do you think that one lap didn't matter, or walk us through those closing laps?
I honestly don't think that. Me personally, I honestly don't think the lap mattered. More in terms of the fact that Luke can save tires more than I can. But I was trying to undercut him, and then in both 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 on my out lap were just really bad. The car washed up the hill both sides of the track, so what ended up happening was me being literally right in front of him as he came off a pit road. I may have been able to pull a little farther away if I do those corners better, but I think he definitely had the fastest car of the race tonight, and all I could do is just try and keep up with him at the end of the race there. But huge shout out to Luke for racing me clean. Racing with him has always been a lot of fun. So I'm glad that we got to continue racing hard like that tonight.
Yeah, you guys definitely had the two fastest cars on track. It was fun watching you guys in the closing laps battle it out, and I know a lot of others were hoping for a caution to get back up there to you, but yeah, you guys really ran away with the lead and had two really fast cars on track.
For sure, for sure. And then it was kind of fun in that last run. We were playing a game of chicken to see who would want especially the lap after he came out, to see who would want to be the lead car, because we felt like if whoever was in front of us coming down the stretch, the guy behind would have the fresher tires that could go out and go ahead and take the lead in the closing laps and win the race. Unfortunately, he figured out my strategy of trying to get behind him, and I think he let off really hard or something like that, and he stayed behind me. So then our goal from that point was just make sure we were fast enough where where Ward couldn't catch up to us. And then once we felt like we had a comfortable gap to Zach, we decided we could fight it out.
Awesome. I appreciate all that. Thanks for letting us know. And you put on a heck of a race. I know it's not the win you were looking for. You almost went back to back. But congratulations on that runner-up finish. And next week, Daytona. It's going to be chaotic. What do you expect there?
Yeah, definitely chaos. Based on the race that we did, the first Talladega race and then the All-Star race that I've been a part of, these guys, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be a good show. And I can already tell it's going to be a lot of fun for that race, so I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it, Brandon. I hope you have a good weekend. Congrats on P2, and we'll see you next week at Daytona.
Yeah, sounds good. You have a good weekend too, man.
All right, take it easy.
You too.
All right, there you heard it from runner-up finisher Brandon Fiedler, who comes home P2. All righty, P3 was Zachary Ward. Let's go ahead and talk to him. Hey, Zach, how's it going? It's David on booth. You got me?
Hey, David, I got you. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Hey, I know it's not the finish you were hoping for. Last year's winner here at Michigan International Speedway. Just unfortunate for you. I want to talk about that little incident you had in not only the first caution, but also the second caution. You just wrong place, wrong time. You had your hood come up once again. Is that 2 weeks in a row?
Yeah, they're trying to make it to where I can't see, man. I know.
Man, they're doing everything they can to throw at you to make it harder on you to win this thing.
Yeah, on that first one, I got really loose on the seam, and I got up into Elliott. So I apologized about that. I mean, I wasn't trying to get into him, but then in the second wreck, it was wrong place, wrong time, and then I thought I was going to be smart and save a set of tires, so I didn't even pit after that spin. So I rode around in like 17th for that whole stint until like lap 50 until we were able to come get fresh tires.
Now, it's interesting you mentioned that, because you and Joe Tardif had almost a very similar strategy where, like, you're trying to stay out and use the tires later in the run, and it was really working out for Joe. But I think Joe just waited too long in the closing laps to use that last set. I think he used it with, like, 16 laps to go or something. But we watched you as well make your way through the pack and come home P3. So it worked out for you in the long run, just not quite the win you wanted, but you rebounded really nicely from that spin in the second caution.
Yeah, I feel like I mean, obviously hindsight's 2020, but if we would have just taken tires, me and John were talking about, if we would have just taken tires on that last caution, we wouldn't have had to make up the 10-second gap that we created by staying out on the old tire. So, I mean, it's just one of those where, I mean, Michigan, I feel like always comes down to either some type of fuel strategy or tire strategy. So, I mean, it was just typical Michigan, but overall, it was a fun race.
All righty. Well, I appreciate you talking with us, and congrats on P3. You rebounded nicely. I know it's not the win you were looking for to go back to back, but man, still heck of a rebound to get back up there and battling with these leaders in the closing laps.
Appreciate it. Yeah, we'll hopefully get back in the victory lane soon. Can't beat these equipment geek guys, man. You guys are good.
Yeah, definitely. And I know you're good at Daytona, so that's going to be another interesting to watch as well. And last year we watched you and Kane battle or lead that thing for most of the race. So good luck next week, and hopefully we'll see you up there in the lead.
Thank you. Yeah, I got to bribe Kane, try to get him back out there. I don't know what's been going on with him lately.
Yeah, I know. I was talking about that
Uh,
moments ago. I was saying, man, I haven't seen Kane out there in a while, and been missing him on track.
yeah, I'll try to work on him this week. We'll see. He's coaching football, so it's getting back into season.
Ah, I gotcha. All
Uh,
righty. Well, thanks for talking with us, Zach. Hope you have a good weekend. We'll see you next week at Daytona.
Thank you. You too. Have a good weekend.
All right, you too. Alrighty, there you heard it from P3 finisher Zachary Ward in the number 9. Bryn George finishes P4. I believe Bryn has headed out off track, so we don't have him on track anymore. P5 was Steve Mormon, and Steve Mormon is out there, so let's go ahead and pull him up. Hey, Steve, David Booth, you got me?
Oh, hey, what's up, David? How's
Hey,
it going?
pulled you at the wrong time. What's going on?
No worries, no worries. I'm good. I'm happy. How are you?
Hey, man, I just want to pull you up and talk with you. P5 tonight, heck of a race. Were you expecting to be inside the top 5 after this thing?
No, played it simple. I knew coming in that Michigan was kind of like a rookie friendly kind of track, and it was. It like very fun. You could ride any lane that you seem like that suits you well. Qualified 7th and finished 5th, so +2 there, which is good. But yeah, I don't just. I'm happy. I'm happy that I didn't make any kind of race ruining mistake, whether that be like going too fast on pit lane or missing my pit box or just doing those little silly rookie things that'll cost you a race. So very clean on that front.
Awesome. Yeah, I was going to say you definitely were looking for a good solid finish here at Michigan, and you definitely earned it P5. I don't think you had the fastest car on track, but man, you really were making it work and leading up there towards the front with these guys in the front pack. I know you and Bryn had some speed in those cars, but yeah, definitely the EGR boys definitely had a lot of speed in those Toyotas.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I was happy just to stick with them for the most part, and kind of just follow them and try to really learn from them and see how they approach corners and exits and all that stuff. So it was definitely a building block for me moving forward and a confidence booster, especially after last week, which was just abysmal. So looking forward to Daytona next week where anything can happen. And I need to redeem myself. My first race in this league was at Dega, and I wasn't too familiar with kind of like a fuel tank strategy, and so I didn't account for green, white, checkered finishes, and that would have been like a top 10 finish, maybe top 5, and I ran out of gas. So hopefully I can redeem myself next week.
Oh, definitely. Well, yeah, you have to at that point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Man,
Yeah, that one's been circled.
I was just looking at the scoreboard. If it wasn't for Zachary Ward, you guys would have finished 1 through 5.
Zach came out of nowhere. I mean, that guy's crazy talented. He always has a chance to win every race. I think he qualified on pole too, so it shouldn't be too surprising. I just didn't know where he was in, when the EGR guys and I were 1 through 4. I don't know where Zach was, and we hit that final, green flag pit stop, and he just kind of ran away with it. And I bet he would have chased down Brandon and Luke if he had maybe like 10 more laps to go.
Yeah, I'm sure he would have. I mean, he definitely had a fast car. He's last year's winner here at Michigan, and man, just talk about talent though. The guy's so smooth; he can make his way through the field. He stayed out, and yeah, just got tires when it mattered towards the end of the race, and had fresh tires. But yeah, talk about coming back up through the field. I couldn't believe that. But none other than that though. Congrats on a top 5 though. That's a good solid points day for you moving forward. So far, you're inside the playoff run, so good momentum going forward into Daytona.
Yeah, absolutely. Fortunately, the guys ahead of me had an off night tonight, so maybe that'll play in my favor once we, lose our worst 3. But confidence is growing and momentum's going forward as well. So can't wait for Daytona. And I wish it was tomorrow night we were doing it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for talking with us, Steve, and congrats on the top 5 finish here at Michigan. And we'll talk to you next week at Daytona. Have a good weekend, buddy.
Okay, thanks, you too.
All right, take it easy. All right, there you heard it from P5 finisher Steve Mormon. We were going to talk to Bryn. I believe Bryn has left the chat. And so there's your top 5. Guys, here is your results after Michigan. Whoops, not that one. And Luke Mahone is your race winner in the 34 car. He comes home P1. Brandon came home P2. Zachary Ward was P3. Bryn George P4. Steve Mormon came home P5. Jeffrey Belk was P6. Corey Goodall P7. John Ledger P8. Craig Bridge Jr. came home P9. Good solid finish for Craig Bridge Jr. in that number 94 Mustang with that P9 finish. Put a lot of had a lot of speed in that car and definitely got a good solid top 10 finish. Elliott Swope though P10, Marshall Dugan P11, Eric Olson came home P12, Jeff Laraway P13, John Scheidrich came home P14, and Joe Tardif P15. Not the run he was looking for. Had a lot of speed. That 88 car was extremely fast out there at Michigan, but just the strategy he was on was great and it was working extremely well for him. Just didn't quite finish the way he wanted it to go. But moving on to 16th was David Galloway Jr., and 17th was Mark Ward, and 18th was Jake Mockey. There's your finishing positions at Michigan. And that's going to do it for the broadcast. We'll go ahead and get back up here in the booth and show you guys the Cup schedule. And right now, we just finished Michigan on August 15th. So next week is Daytona, August 22nd. Daytona used to be the last race of the regular season standings, but the Cup Series actually changed it. It's Darlington now. So we're going to finish this Cup Series at Darlington in 2 weeks, and that's going to be a really interesting race. You're not going to want to miss that. You're not going to want to miss Daytona either. Daytona is going to be a fun one to watch. Anyone's going to win it in this fun league. Talladega in the All-Star race that we had showed really good, had really good results. I think it was Eric Olson and myself. I think we raced in that All-Star race, and I came home P2. But yeah, Daytona is going to be a fun one for everybody, so stay tuned for that next Thursday night. And then Darlington, the track too tough to be tamed. Don't want to miss that one. So 2 races left in the Cup Series standings before we get these playoffs kicked off. Guys, we'll see you next Thursday. Hope you all have a good night. And take it easy. We're out.